So is that enough to hide my fat? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to our second installment of Let's Get Real. Today, we're gonna be talking about what is in the title, the Shaytards. And we're gonna share some of our experience as a married couple for 12 years and the excitement that we have in hopes that they're gonna come back after 12 months of being away. So stick around. Hey, it's the opening. Look at these guys go, they're crazy. I don't know what to say.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano.
All right, so welcome to episode 2. If you haven't seen episode 1, make sure you click up right there to see our review of The Last Jedi, Star Wars. It was a great movie. But we're going to be talking about, as mentioned, the Shaytards today. Many people know who the Shaytards are. They were at the forefront of probably the entire YouTube movement for young family vloggers. And they really truly were the inspiration for us to start our channel. And the reason behind that is we moved from California. For those of you that are familiar with us, we moved from California to Atlanta, Georgia. And I came across the Shaytard channel while looking for some Disneyland.
Dog.
That was the dog.
Don't mind the fuzzy white puff.
I clicked on this vlog right here, the best ride at Disneyland, them at Splash Mountain. And for us, obviously with the Neverlanders being our title for our YouTube channel, we're a huge Disney family. And moving from California to Atlanta, I missed going to Disneyland. And so we really, truly, I took advantage of YouTube and all the videos that were out there, and I saw the Shaytards and I was like, this family is awesome. Like, I just instantly really felt like connected to them because of the material that they were producing. And I know that a lot of people felt that way, and that's probably why so many people, when the controversy last year, when what happened last year happened, that so many people were hurt.
So if you're not aware, the Shaytards announced almost a year ago, February 2017, that they were going to take a 1-year break from their family YouTube channel. And shortly thereafter, there was a scandal that broke, a cheating scandal that broke with Shay. And shortly thereafter, he came out and said that he was struggling with his alcohol addiction again, and he went into rehab. And with the page not being active for a year, nobody really knows what's going on with them. Shay has uploaded some stuff.
Yeah, they've uploaded some stuff. Colette did a great video, and Shay's uploaded some stuff, most recent with his cousin, taking his cousin back to the same rehabilitation place that he went to. But I think one of the reasons why we felt it was important to talk about this subject was really because of our past. We have a similar background, and we've dealt with some of those things, and we wanted to kind of share our experience to breathe life into what's happening with theirs. But what also motivated us was reading a lot of the comments that people had put on the most recent vlogs, the old vlogs, and really something that spoke to me was Shay did a video where he talks about like the public shaming, and it just like it's terrible. It's really, really, really sad. So one of the reasons why it was really, it struck a nerve with me with Shay's addiction problem is because of the almost 12 years that we've been married. I can openly admit that I've had addiction problems. I really, and even now, I love beer. I love the taste of beer. I like hanging out at the lake and having a drink. And when I say that I had an addiction problem, it was more along the lines of what drinking in public and drinking with my friends brought along with that. It wasn't necessarily that I was addicted to alcohol, and I realized that difference.
One of the things that we have to say about why we care about Shay and what he's going through is because both of us have similar backgrounds when it comes to our family having addiction problems. And it's something that at one point in our relationship, we both had to say,
this has got to change.
This has got to change, this has to stop, because we don't want to continue the generational habits and pass them to our children.
Yeah.
We have to make better decisions for ourselves. And, you know, so Scott likes to drink. I like to get buzzy with my husband and flirt with him and sit in a bar and tell him how hot he is and pet his face and stuff.
And pet my face and stuff.
But both of us recognize that certain situations were going too far, and that there were situations that potentially could be hazardous to our relationship, to our personal beings, and we made a decision to stop. And that doesn't mean that we're better than Shay, it just means that we can empathize with him, because potentially him or I could have gone down the same path.
A lot of people miss this particular component, and the fact that, you know, after seeing so many of the negative comments and what people had to say, I think one of the things that really bummed me out was it's almost like people expect that failure, and so when it happens, they're so quick to jump on top of it. And I had mentioned earlier about Shay talking about the public shaming piece, and it literally breaks my heart, because listen, guys, as a family that a vlogging family, and we're a very small channel, but for us to put our lives out there and to expose ourselves, I mean, anything negative that can happen could be detrimental, you know, because it's on their level. I mean, on us, it's as simple as shutting down the channel and whatnot, and nobody's going to miss us, kind of thing. But I think that, you know, the Shaytards stood for something. I mean, from the very get-go, it was producing love and creating an environment that was happy for others. And I've seen other videos.
And their message was very clear. They wanted to show that you could have a healthy, happy, thriving family.
Yeah.
And you know, nobody's perfect. They're not perfect. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter if they're a YouTube family or if they're Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. 90% of the population in this world gets to make mistakes and grieve and go through the healing process and forgiveness process privately. And you know, they're not doing that. I mean, they kind of are, but they're still on a platform to have people point fingers at them and say things, and that's only going to make the situation that much harder on them to move forward.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to do this, is because we're coming up on that 12-month term where they had said that they're going to take a year off. And now they did post that before this, you know, had come out. We have gone through similar things, in addition to understanding Shay's addiction slightly. Chris and I, in 12 years, we've gone through things that have, you know, sometimes have drifted us apart, and then have other times have brought us closer together. But we did go through a similar situation where you had found things on my Facebook page, and you know, it was heartbreaking for you. It was something that I was embarrassed by. I don't know if you want to speak to that. It probably wasn't at the extent.
It definitely wasn't at the same extreme and the same content level as Shay. It was much more a flirting, and there was an intuition, I guess, or like intent written behind the messages. But nothing ever came to fruition. There wasn't, you know, Shay was live chatting with somebody and simulating events, I guess is the most tactful way to say it. And it wasn't anything like that between me and Scott, but it was more just a betrayal of,
well, the trust.
Of trust, you know, and a betrayal of promising to be faithful. And if you're acting like you're not gonna be, I guess that's breaking a promise. And you know, that's fair to say, right?
Yeah. Listen, going through that really was something that actually ended up strengthening our marriage. We went through counseling. We realized some things about one another. There were some things that we were doing on both ends that was not healthy and not okay and not right for the marriage. And but I think that looking at our situation and looking at what they have gone through, and that it's like public knowledge, and that there's people that know this and say things about it and write hurtful comments and have terrible things to say. Guys, the thing that kills me is nobody is perfect. Like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does something. We all have baggage. Everybody has something. And for me, I look at things like there's got to be a deeper reasoning behind all this, right? Like when I examine myself, regarding my alcohol abuse and why I was doing that, there were all these underlining issues that whatever excuses I wanted to make, I allowed those things to happen. And if it's so much easier for somebody to just turn tail and walk away from that kind of situation.
Yeah, and Colette, when she uploaded her video, her, I guess, statement to the world, letting everybody know that she was okay, and thanking them for, being concerned, and basically saying, this is what I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to stay with my family, to keep our family whole, and to forgive Shay, and we're working through it. She was very, very unfairly attacked. And, like the thing that people, I mean, maybe they have been through it, I have no idea, but like the easier thing to do in that situation is to walk away.
Oh yeah.
And that the hard part is staying. The hard part is staying and making the effort to cry and to grieve and to forgive. And I really want to say, like, how dare people telling her that she is a poor example to her children, and specifically a poor example to her daughters, because the truth of the matter is love wins. Love always wins, it always conquers, it's always bigger, it's always stronger and brighter than anything else that happens. And if that's their choice, they choose to remain as a family, she chooses to forgive him, she chooses to support him through his recovery and be there for him, good for her.
Yeah, I think that's huge, because here's how I feel about the whole alcohol abuse, and I want to state this. So my mom passed away from dementia, and it was brought on by just alcohol abuse to the max. And guys, I would have never, especially at the end of her life, have just turned away from her and just been like, well, you did this to yourself, see you later. Like, nobody tells somebody who has cancer, like, well, you got cancer, all right, well, see you later. And not to say one is worse than the other, guys, but I think specifically so here in the States, we don't treat alcoholism or any sort of addiction or even mental health like we don't treat it the way that we should. And so when you get involved as somebody, and listen, it's okay to have your opinion and to be passionate about it, but you have got to take the log from your eye before you try to pull a speck out of somebody else's, right? I mean, you can't, it's so easy for people to point the finger because it takes the attention off of them, and I think that in this particular situation, people were hurt. Absolutely. It's okay. I mean, the Shaytards are such an amazing family. People felt part of their family.
And they're looking to them for hope and inspiration and as examples to what they could one day aspire to be, or what they're actively trying to do. And I mean, Scott brought up the fact that we vlog because he watched the Shaytards. If I'm being honest with you, before he made me watch a Shaytard vlog, I had no idea what vlogging was. I thought that YouTube was for funny animals and
try not to laugh at
sick, gross things. Like, I didn't know that people actually sat down with a camera and talked about their life or recorded their life the way that they write about it on blogs. I had no idea that even existed. So the truth of the matter is that people were modeling themselves after them in some huge platform that I don't even understand. And I have to say this, I really need to say it. I don't I don't agree with what Shay did. I don't support what he did. I'm not even saying it's okay. If I had to pick sides, I'd pick Colette's over and over and over again. I'd pick Colette's side. But that's not the point. The point is that he made a mistake, and it's up to them to decide if it's too big to end.
Yeah.
If it's too big of a thing for them to overcome and end their marriage, or to decide it's not, and the two of them are bigger and stronger than the one thing that he did.
Yeah.
To throw it all away. And
yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. And when him and I were having our problem, I reached out to people that I loved and that I appreciated, friends, family, people that I looked to for inspiration and to help me get through things. And there were a handful of people that were like, you just need to leave him. You just need to go. And that's why I can so passionately feel for Colette, because I had people that were angry with me that I didn't follow their advice, that I didn't leave my husband, that I didn't take my children from their dad over something. Yes, it was a big deal, but it wasn't the end of the world. And again, it was my decision. It wasn't anybody else's. And, going through a situation like that makes you realize how much you can love yourself, but it also makes you realize how much you love.
I'm gonna zoom in on my face right here because I'm like falling in love with you right now, and she's so hot, and she likes me. I'm sorry.
It makes you realize how much you love somebody else, and I can tell you that walking through a situation like this and bringing others into it by asking them for things and them not necessarily agreeing with me, now they do. Now they're a part of it. And I can tell you that hurt is ugly and it's bad and awful, but forgiveness is beautiful.
And people hold the keys to that. That's the thing that you don't realize. Like, if there's something that you have in your heart that you have not forgiven somebody over, like, you are the one that has the power in that. And there's so much strength and there's so much power in that. Like, there's nothing more freeing than forgiving somebody that's really hurt you. And I would, if there's something you're thinking of right now, I would really steer you and encourage you to let that thing go, and listen, everybody is hurt by people, right? Everybody, you turn to men, you turn to women, they're going to hurt you at some point. Every single one of my friends has disappointed me at one time or another. My family has disappointed me at one time. I've disappointed people.
Your parents, let's get real. Everybody is going to disappoint you and hurt you at some point. Your spouse is not perfect. Your children are not perfect. Your pastor is not perfect. Your teacher is not perfect. People are going to fail you, and it's up to you to decide whether or not you can live with that, and how to live with it.
I think too, like it would be different if, and maybe we don't know everything, right? We don't know everything that's taken place with Shay and Colette, but we do know what we know. But the things that I would say, if somebody is listen, you got to remove yourself from certain people. I've done that in my life. That's why I don't have the alcohol dependencies that I have now, but it's a realization of, like, I can't be around these people because there's a continual, either disappointment or letdown or whatever that happens. I get it, but I really encourage you to, you have to internalize things, or you have to look at yourself, and you have to go, if this person's done this to me, what's the likelihood that I've done this to somebody else, or what's the likelihood that I've let somebody else down? And we're getting a little off track, but I think that, our main purpose for talking about the Shaytards was to say, what a great inspiration when, through the things that they have done with their channel, they preach love and really just create this environment that is fun to be a part of. And there are so many people that I've seen on YouTube that have uploaded videos talking about how they make them feel. I've seen videos where they're at Disney World, I think, or it was Disneyland, and like there's girls off on the side, kids off on the side, and they see them, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're freaking out.
It's a Shaytard.
And Shay is always so cool about meeting people, and I think that, like, the world needs more of that. And if I could say anything, like if I could talk directly to them, I would hope, and I would say, hey, like, we've prayed for you guys, and we hope that you guys come back stronger as a stronger family unit. And we would want that for anybody. We'd want that. It doesn't matter who they are. It's just the fact that, like, guys, we're coming up on our 12-year anniversary. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna let you down again at some point. Mm-hmm. Will you tell me that?
Yeah.
You're gonna let me down at some
let
point.
You down
Are you
too.
gonna disappoint me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, can we agree to work through it?
High five.
High five. I just think that that's the reality of things. The longer you know somebody, the longer you're around somebody, they're going to let you down. They're going to disappoint you. We are not perfect as people, and I think the more that you can love one another, the more you can show love to one another and respect people, and just have an understanding that, like, this world's not meant to be perfect.
Yeah. That,
you know, you're going to be all right. I think that's a great time to end. How do you feel?
I think that there's just one more thing that I need to do.
Okay.
So, with all that being said, approaching a 1-year mark of if they're going to come back, are they going to come back? My hope is that they do. I hope that they do come back and they can continue to be an example for somebody out there, lots of people out there, and with a new example from what they had originally started out as. But if they don't, that's okay too. The point is that they need to take care of them. They need to take care of their children. They need to do what's right for them. And I just want what ultimately they think is good, is best for them. And I hope to see them happy. But more than anything, I just hope to know that they're good. And I don't need to see them on YouTube.
Reading about them would be okay?
Not necessarily reading about them would be okay. Like the whole point of
I wouldn't trust it anyway.
The whole point of this saying it's your own decision or not, if they decide that they don't want to do YouTube anymore, because
you gotta respect that. It's just,
yeah, they have to decide that their family comes first.
Right.
And if YouTube was a way for Shay to cheat or be tempted, or it caused him stress to drink and it made Colette pull away from him, whatever it was, it's not worth it. Turn it off.
Yeah.
You just have to be done. And I've said this time and time again when people have asked us, would you ever stop vlogging? Absolutely. If it was detrimental to my family, absolutely. Nothing comes before us. And so, like, I guess that's my thing to them. Come back if you want to. If you don't, God bless. Love you. Like, do what's right for you guys, always, ultimately, but above everything else. And I mean, that's my wish for the Shaytards, is that they remain a happy, healthy, thriving family full of love and forgiveness, whether Shay and Colette decide to stay together or they choose to part. Because I know families that function just fine with mom and dad deciding that they don't want to be together anymore. And I know families that do not function well like that. And
there's the flip side of that, where, you know, there's families that are together that don't function well either. But ultimately, it's what's right for them, and I think that was a strong outro. I'm afraid to say anything else to that. I just think that, you know, guys, I just think that, listen, I mean, whether you agree with how we see that or not, that's up to you. That's okay. That's how you feel. You're entitled to that. If you did enjoy it, I would just ask that you guys give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and make sure that you guys go back and watch either episode 1 or any of the other vlogs that we've uploaded with our family.
And guys, start a conversation with us.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment down below, letting us know your thoughts and reactions to what we just talked about. But also, guys, ask us questions. Give us topics to
Give
talk
us a
about.
suggestion, because
totally
we'd love to have
suggestions.
some more suggestions for Let's Get Real. We'd like to talk about the things that you guys are interested in.
Yes.
And bring you quality material.
Absolutely. Entertaining quality material.
So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on Let's Get Real.